Most people believe that once a dog has been abandoned, it's only a matter of time before they give up on life. But what if, instead of fading away, they fought with every ounce of strength they had, determined to survive? Hi, everyone. Today, I'm going to share with you the incredible story of Halo, a dog left for dead in the woods. But Halo didn't just give in to despair. She did something that would forever change the lives of the people who saved her. Stay with us here at Pets in Love to learn more. October 2024. A crisp breeze brushed through the trees, the last vestiges of autumn wrapping up in a colorful display. But in the woods, all was not serene. There, lying abandoned and broken, was a dog named Halo. Starved, mangy, and suffering from a leg injury, she was blind, alone, and seemingly ready to give up on life. The Rainbow Bridge was surely near, and Halo, with no strength left, must have thought it was her time. But then, something miraculous happened. One autumn day, a kind-hearted woman named Stacy found Halo. Stacy was walking through the woods when she spotted her. Halo was barely a shadow among the trees, curled up in a pitiful heap. The scene left her speechless. She didn't move when Stacy approached. There was no wagging of a tail, no hope in her posture, just the quiet acceptance that this was the end. "Hey, sweetheart," Stacy said gently, her voice soft and full of compassion. She knelt down in front of Halo, keeping her movements slow and non-threatening. Halo didn't flinch, but there was a moment of hesitation before she cautiously lifted her head. Stacy didn't rush. She took her time, offering Halo the comfort of her presence, knowing that this was all the dog needed for now. Then, she pulled out a small packet of food she'd brought along, tearing it open slowly. The smell of the food filled the air, and Halo's nose twitched, her head tilting slightly toward it. Slowly, cautiously, she moved closer, drawn to the food, though still unsure of what was happening. Stacy held the food out, watching as Halo's hesitant movements turned into something more sure. The dog sniffed at the meal. Then, with a tiny, tentative lick, she tasted it. The moment she did, something shifted in her. It was the first taste of something good she had had in who knows how long. She licked it again, and then a little more eagerly. It was as if she'd been starving for both food and kindness, and now both were being offered to her. When Halo finished, Stacy carefully raised her up and walked her to the car. Halo might not have been able to see it, but the love and care she felt were more than enough to fill the empty spaces in her heart. Stacy wasted no time in rushing her to the vet. The doctor quickly noticed Halo's emaciated condition and began checking her. The wait felt excruciating. Stacy paced the floor, checking her phone, hoping for an update. Halo had fallen into a quiet, exhausted slumber on the examination table, her head resting on her paws, trusting Stacy's presence. After what seemed like an eternity, the vet came back into the room with a set of results in hand. She was still calm, but there was a hint of concern in her eyes. "Stacy," the vet began, taking a seat across from her. "We've got the x-ray results back. Thankfully, Halo's leg isn't broken, but there is some damage to the joint. It's likely from an old injury that was never treated. We'll need to keep her on pain management for now and monitor it closely to make sure it doesn't get worse." Stacy nodded, grateful that the leg injury wasn't as severe as she'd feared. The vet continued. Halo was completely blind. Her eyes, despite being perfectly healthy, had no vision. Stacy's heart sank when she heard the news, but it wasn't as shocking as it might have been. She had seen it in Halo's behavior from the beginning. Stacy gently stroked the top of Halo's head, watching her little dog carefully as she absorbed the information. Despite the heavy news, she couldn't help but admire the strength Halo displayed. As Stacy left the vet's office, with Halo resting quietly in her lap, her thoughts were filled with both sadness and hope. She knew that Halo would need a little extra help learning to live in a world without sight, but she also knew that love could fill that void in ways that nothing else could. Stacy would be her eyes. She would guide Halo, help her explore her new world, and show her all the things she hadn't known she could experience. When Stacy brought Halo home, she wasted no time making sure her new little friend was cared for. The first thing she did was give Halo something she hadn't had in forever: food. At first, Halo could barely eat, her tiny, malnourished body struggling to process even the smallest amount of nourishment. But slowly, with gentle coaxing and constant care, Halo started to eat, her frail frame beginning to rebuild itself bit by bit. The first days were difficult, of course. Halo was too weak to stand properly, and her body was a map of scars and injuries. Her leg, hurt and neglected for so long, caused her so much pain. But through it all, there was a spark. It wasn't much, but it was enough. Every day, Halo was fed a little more, her tiny body absorbing the nourishment it so desperately needed. Slowly, she started to gain weight, her muscles rebuilding, and her fur began to grow back. It was nothing short of a miracle. As Halo healed, her personality began to emerge. She might not have had sight, but she had an inner light that could be seen in the way she moved. She would carefully make little loops around the house, trying to learn where everything was. Despite being blind, she wasn't deterred. She didn't let her disability define her. She was curious, determined, and full of life. It wasn't long before Halo's new family realized just how clever she was. She might not have been able to see, but she sure could feel, and she used those other senses of hers to navigate the world. When she wanted something, like a belly rub or a snack, she wasn't shy about asking for it. If you were sitting down, she would nudge your hand or push herself up against you until you gave in. And once she got what she wanted, it was like a switch flipped, and she was the happiest dog in the world. She would wag her tail with pure joy, her tiny body wiggling in excitement. It was like she couldn't believe her luck. One of the most adorable things Halo did was get excited about human ice cream. Have you ever seen a dog react to ice cream? It's like they think they've discovered the secret to life. Halo wasn't any different. Her little face would light up as she smelled the cold treat. "You're taking it away from me?" she would seem to say as she gently nudged at the spoon in protest. But after a few seconds, she'd accept it and savor every bite as though it was the best thing she had ever had. And you could just see the gratitude in her eyes. Every little act of kindness was so new and so precious to her. Halo's journey wasn't over, though. She wasn't out of the woods yet, literally and figuratively. Her health was still fragile, and she had more challenges ahead. She was heartworm positive, which meant she needed treatment. She also needed to be spayed, and there were other things that still needed attention. But despite it all, there was no giving up for Halo. There was a determination in her, a refusal to accept anything less than the best life she could possibly have. It's funny how much you can learn from a dog like Halo. She had known pain, abandonment, and neglect, but she didn't let that define her. When she was given love, she gave it right back. She didn't look for perfection in the world. She just accepted the good that came her way. And that's exactly what Stacy and her family gave her: unconditional love. There was no hesitating when it came to Halo. Stacy's heart was wide open, and she was ready to give Halo everything she deserved. Halo might not have been able to see her saviors, but she could certainly feel the love that radiated from them every day. As days turned into weeks, Halo began to show her true personality more and more. She was a senior dog, and while she was still adjusting to her new life, she didn't let that stop her from enjoying everything around her. She loved her walks, her treats, and most of all, her people. Halo wasn't interested in competing with anyone for attention. She was happy to just be loved, and she was absolutely spoiled with it. But Halo's journey wasn't just about healing. It was also about finding her forever home. While she was still getting stronger, there was a plan in motion to find Halo a family of her own. It wasn't long before someone saw Halo's story and fell in love. There were people interested, but it wasn't just anyone who could adopt a dog like her. Halo needed a special kind of person, someone who could take her in and accept her for all she was, blind and all. She was going to need patience, understanding, and a little bit of extra care. But thankfully, Halo's story had touched the hearts of the right people. One day, Halo got to meet her new family, and it was clear from the moment they saw her that it was meant to be. She took her time getting to know them, just as she had done with everyone else. But she could feel the love surrounding her, and that was enough to make her trust again. Halo wasn't just surviving anymore. She was thriving. As the days passed, Halo's life got even better. She continued to love car rides, the fresh air in her face as her family drove with the windows down. She loved to sniff the world around her and just take it all in. And most of all, she loved her people. Her family didn't mind that she was blind. They loved her for her gentle soul, her kind heart, and her ability to bring joy into every moment. Eventually, Halo was adopted, and she found her forever home with the people who would love her unconditionally for the rest of her days. She may not have been able to see the world, but she could feel it. And in that, she found something more beautiful than anything she could have imagined. A family who cared, who gave her everything she deserved and more. That's the end of the story today. What touched you the most about Halo's journey? Have you ever rescued or adopted a dog in need? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep spreading the love for these incredible animals. Thank you so much for watching to the end. If you find our video interesting, please give it a big thumbs up and share it with others. Finally, don't forget to turn on our bell and subscribe to our channel Pets in Love so you don't miss any of our new videos. Thank you for your support. Wishing you all peace, happiness, take care, and we'll see you in the next one.